Man, this seems like it's been a while. What do we do? How do we start this thing again?
I guess I talk. You've tuned into the Bellingham Podcast for the week of November 14th, 2021. This is episode 201.
That's right.
From that frigid city by the Salish Sea, I'm AJ Barcay.
And once again, straight out of 98226 for the next century of episodes, I am Chris Powell. On this episode, we're back. We're back. Did you miss us? I brought my pencil. Give me something to write on, man. AJ and I are going to be catching up and talking about some new things. We got some new bits, and we actually have something new to share with y'all. All that and more next. I'll get my intros better as we get back into the swing of things right here on the Bellingham Podcast.
Well, Chris, it's been a hot minute or 6 weeks. How you been?
I just got out of witness protection a couple days ago, and I'm happy to be back in Bellingham. How about yourself, AJ?
Well, that's good. Did you get a name change yet?
Yes, it was Stephen Mitchell. Never trust someone with two first names.
I like that. Yeah,
anyway, things are going well, as good as they can be, although I am lamenting this current month of November as we are preparing for the Thanksgiving holiday season. Oof. It gets dark around 3:45 p.m. here in 48th parallel.
48 degrees north, 122 degrees west.
Preach. And it just gets dark early, and that's sad, even though we had turn the clocks back an hour for extra sunlight. It's not there, folks. This is really bad. Yeah. AJ, what's been going on for you the past 6 weeks?
We'll get into it in a bit, but man, just trying to find the flow.
Yeah.
Like that was kind of the main reason why we kind of took a break, other than the fact that, it's been 5 years. But
our punch card was full and we deserved a break.
Well, my punch card got turned into a dance card.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we'll get back to the housekeeping, but so AJ gets to be transparent a little bit. So about 6 weeks ago, looking at our schedule for production and work and freelance and life and school, and oh my gosh, I was overloaded. The whole transition from the pandemic to whatever we're calling this, pre-epidemic, I don't know what the heck phase we're in, but the thing that really kind of goosed me is between work and this hybrid high flex that we're doing.
Yeah.
And being at two places at once. Like literally when it was just all online, golden. Love working remote. Being both present and online and have to do other stuff that work entails, for me, it was all routine and flow was gone.
It sounds like there's a lot of complexity and stress on top of complexity and stress from shifting to online remote life.
Well, and then, so obviously during the pandemic, life had occurred, as we like to say. My wife was one of those folks that can commiserate with anybody who had to lose their job during the pandemic, then have to go to school for retraining, and, juggling that along with a kiddo who, juggling, like being a parent in the pandemic and also doing childcare and everything else. It's a whole new level of juggling. And so I was struggling with it. So finally, after about 6 weeks, I got somewhat of a routine. And so now we're back on the mic, hopefully.
If you're a parent in the Bellingham, Whatcom County area, and you happen to be identifying with my podcast partner crime, AJ, sit back and enjoy the next 25 or so minutes. We're going to entertain you, and we're going to have a nice discussion, and we're not going to get into too much heavy stuff. No. But we have some housekeeping to take care of.
Yes. So in those 6 weeks, and, thanks to everyone who reached out. Let's see. No, we did not die. No, Chris Powell is not mad at me. What else did I get as DMs? No, we did not cancel the show, nor did the show get canceled.
Yes, no one found me on the internet to contact me.
Yeah. So thanks to everybody. Yes, we're still alive. We're still kicking. Like I said, just because on our station break, this is what I got called out.
Okay.
On the station break, I said around Halloween, we'll be back on the mic.
Yes.
I never updated that, and so some people reached out, and I just wanted to thank everybody.
I didn't even tell you that I went into the witness protection program. I just went MIA for a while, man.
That's fine. That's fine. Right. MIA is also a great artist. It's great. But in that said time, I did start up a few social media thingies, only because we get tagged in a lot of stuff.
Sure.
And as much as you all like to tag me and Chris, we now have an Instagram. We're not doing anything else, just Instagram. So at Bellingham Podcast on Instagram. And also because Beham Podcast got commandeered by a radio station out of, I think, Birmingham, Alabama.
God bless them.
I basically just rerouted all of our stuff to hashtag Bellingham Podcast. So
for the Birmingham Radio Podcast that wanted to claim that hashtag,
for it.
Our compliments, enjoy, we love you. We're all in this together. We're taking Bellingham Podcast.
Yes. So, and that last but not least, show notes. So we are, if you click on the episode today, you will notice that there's just a simple blurb with a link. It is to a Substack. You may not know what this, may not have heard about this. Basically, Substack is a newsletters-esque website type.
It's what all the kids are using nowadays, in public, if you will.
Well, at least the content creators. Basically, if you go to bellinghampodcast.substack.com, think of it as an addendum to our website. Yes, our website's still bellinghampodcast.com, but you can subscribe to the Substack. And what that will allow you to do is you'll be able to see show notes.
Did you hear that?
Yeah, I didn't say it.
No, I didn't say it either.
I know this is the 200s. We're not doing that.
We're not saying what we used to say in the previous 200 episodes about show notes,
which is why I'm doing the Substack. So
I think it's a great idea.
So if you're interested in any of the bits, also it just cleans up the feed, and Chris and I can now put pictures and other stuff that we're not able to do in the show notes.
And we still are going to keep it clean with those pictures we upload and other things like that. But it's more of an enhanced aspect to the show notes, because when you're in whatever podcast app you're currently rocking,
show notes are horrible.
Formatting's horrible. There are links to touch on your phone,
but and also you'll be able to subscribe there if you wish, just as another way. So it's free. We're not charging anything. We're not going to have a charge tier or anything like that. And eventually, commenting will also be in there. So that way, you and I will both see it, as opposed to me having to parlay what I get on Instagram DMs.
Snap! Here comes some comments.
See? There we go.
I don't know, man. I got to put on my happy hat for that one.
Oh, you'll be fine.
I'll be fine.
There's the housekeeping. So let's dive into the bulk of the show, Chris. So now that we're back after 6 weeks, let's talk about some of the stuff that we did in that 6 weeks.
So, full disclosure, I wasn't in witness protection, but during that time, work occurred, and fall season is always the high season for me and what I do. But I've really taken some joy in a couple avenues of content creation. And one of the continued content creation cavalcades that I've been working on. I'm in the alliteration mode right now. I have a newsletter also on Substack. Thank you very much. It's the Gray Man Technology newsletter. And no, it's not because of the color of my hair. The Gray Man life is, as I loosely explain, is how one can move about in society without drawing too much attention to oneself, or who may not stick out in a crowd. That usually doesn't apply to me because I'm 6'3" and 1/8 of a ton, and I kind of like stick out in a crowd. But when you're online, if you were to use a web search for, I'm not going to use that G word. If you're going to use a web search for Chris Powell, you would probably, and Bellingham, you would probably locate this show, my newsletter, and a couple other things.
Your website.
My website and other, freelance work and everything like that.
Not your Facebook, not your TikTok, not your WeChat,
that
not your
is
Instagram.
All Party Puff Girl 007 is my handle for that. No, I've enjoying this brain dump, so to speak, with my technology newsletter. It's free. I don't want your money, folks. I had a chance to caddy for the Dalai Lama one time, and as we were in the 18th hole in a big old crevasse, he made the shot, and he was going to stiff me, and I'm like, hey, Dalai, how about a little bit of tip for the effort and things? And the Dalai Lama said to me, upon your deathbed, you'll receive total consciousness. So I got that going for me, folks, which is
that
nice.
Real, or did you pull that from a movie?
AJ's Pops. Contact your son to yell at him for not knowing Caddyshack. Anyway, I've been doing the Gray Man Technology newsletter, and AJ's Pops. You might find some information that could be interesting about it, although I'm sure your son has already made you aware of a whole lot of stuff. Anyway, that's one avenue. The second has been continued curation of my solo Canvas Insider podcast. So there's a learning management system called Canvas, of which I'm an admin for, and I share a whole lot of information with the millions and millions of Canvas users are worldwide, and so I'm currently on episode 54. It isn't as bombastic as the Bellingham podcast because, one, you're just having to listen to me. We don't have some cool guitar intro like you just listened to. It's kind of about a 4 or 5 minute blast of just me talking and sharing information.
It's really tailored for people in the industry, and it's skookum.
Yeah, and if you want to get to know a little bit of a tech side, and I do offer some professional development suggestions on one avenue or another, but not just that, but I've also thoroughly enjoyed these past 6 weeks getting intimate. That intimate has a kind of a naughty, cheeky way about it. But I have really dived into the nuts and bolts of my Google Pixel. Did I just say that G word? Why, yes, I did. A Google Pixel 4a phone running Graphene OS, the good G, Graphene OS. I am so enjoying. I'm a smitten kitten, and about this, I don't have another follow-up for that. Anyway, love the operating system, love the lack of telemetry with the big tech companies. They're not getting any of that. But I just discovered, thanks Techlore, it is possible to use the Signal app on Graphene OS to make your default messenger app, and you can send unsecure SMS messages to a phone number that is not signed up for Signal.
In the Signal app.
Signal app. And I'm like, mind blown, game changer, sign me up. I love it. And also the Plex Amp app gives me access to my Plex arsenal of songs for my own little music streaming because I have fallen out of love with Apple Music. And
don't blame you.
And Spotify has always been this little walled garden of coolness that I won't be cool because I'm a dad type. But no, I got my own streaming music service in-house, and I can go wherever I want. So I'm thoroughly enjoying Canvas Insider Podcast, Grayman Technology Newsletter, and Graphene OS for my mobile device. AJ, what the heck has been going on for you in addition?
I didn't have a lot during that 6 weeks because, like I said, and I even in my Patreon, I even mentioned to my patrons, like I was struggling so much that my creativity plummeted. Like I had no mental margin to be creative.
Yeah.
In doing so, I mustered up a little bit of energy because I had somebody that I had reached out to at the beginning of the pandemic to talk about bringing them on to the show or to the Analog Explorer, Graham Gannon out of Northern Ireland.
Hey, Graham.
Hey, Graham. And by the time that you see this episode, you'll also see another episode that says AE. And it's a different type of production of podcasts. It's more of a story narrative. And it's Graham and I talking about the Peninsula Kelp Company, which we've mentioned on the show before, and how a small family-owned business that's in farming, it's aquaculture, for lack of better terms, as a kelp farmer, and then the pandemic hits. And it's just the story of him and his family and how they had to smile in the face of adversity, if I could quote him. I've had a lot of folks reach out about that episode, but that's kind of been my creative pride and joy for the last 6 weeks. Stay tuned for the AE07. Also for the Watch fam, if you go over to the Analog Explorer podcast feed, there's a dedicated podcast feed now. You'll find AE08, and that's where we actually talk a little bit more about watches. But the story and stuff definitely would resonate with anybody here in the Pacific Northwest because we have our Sailor C. That was kind of it, man. Like I had those 2 episodes, and just finding balance. It's been tough.
I can totally resonate with that. I had to go underground for a little bit and just kind of keep my head focused on the tyranny of the urgent of what was going on, and I get that. But the big question I have for you, AJ, this show would not be complete if we didn't discuss EDC.
Oh yeah.
Have you gotten any new kit?
Yes. I did not do what is that? Shop therapy, retail therapy?
Retail therapy?
Not retail therapy. So it's almost a trope. So my original iPhone SE that recorded, I kid you not, 200 episodes because we had it at the start of the show.
Yep.
I put 200 episodes of recording through that phone. It finally gave up the gusto after 2 batteries, a cracked screen. That thing was nursed for 5 years.
Yep. You thanked it for its service.
I did. I'm currently rocking a new iPhone 13. It's nice. It's fast. It's bigger than my 13 or
Did
my
you squee
SE
when
rather.
You got it?
No, not really.
Yeah, we're not really squeeing too. I kind of squeed a little bit about graphene, but that's just about the features.
I mean, okay, so I guess there's one thing I would squee about. And again, folks, I'm coming from the original iPhone SE. The battery.
Oh.
Like, not the cameras. Like, the cameras are aight. Of course, again, I carry better cameras, so I don't really care. The bigger screen size, like, this is basically a iPad for me. And because of my work instance where I have to be on the go, it works better for me. But the battery, I charge this, like, I don't know, maybe once every other day. I don't keep it on the charger, and it's got the new MagSafe charger is kind of nifty, but the fact that you can do rapid charging on this and it's got the bigger battery, I like that better than anything else. Besides that, it's iOS and it's an iPhone, whatever.
All right, and now for the weather.
Yeah, right. Well, it's cool.
So you got a new phone for the next 200 episodes.
Pretty much.
All right.
It's going to driven into the ground again.
And as we're playing Battleship in my front room with our dueling laptops, mine is severely dwarfed with your Battleship. What you got? You got a new piece of kit.
I do. So I'd pre-ordered the M1 MacBook Pro 16 with the M1 Pro chip in it.
Whammo.
Bear in mind, folks, I also had the i7 2014 MacBook Pro that had made me thousands of dollars in freelance work. So, like, here's my 150 character review of the MacBook Pro 16 M1 Pro. If you're a pro, this is what you've been looking for. If you're not, don't waste your money. Like, flat out. Yes, it is nice. It is fast if the apps that you use support it. Like, here's the thing. I use Luminar. Full disclosure, I also have Luminar Neo on order. The sooner as it drops, I will get the newest version, which will be optimized for M1. But I use Luminar 4. It's not optimized. I save a little bit of time here and there, but, like, relatively speaking, unless you're a creative pro who's leveraging the multi-cores and the RAM and all that other jazz, not to go uber geek speak, but to boil it down, like, if you don't, it's like having a Ferrari and commuting every day to, like, your local
or driving
college.
Meridian.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
But for people like us, you know, because like I said, I mean, I have a big shoot in January that this thing is going to greatly help my ROI. But, like, beyond that, man, like, the screen's pretty cool. You know.
So with Apple's world-class marketing,
yeah,
bombarding us everywhere we go about how awesome and how fun it is to have a new MacBook. If you have a 5 or 6 year old MacBook from the mid-teens decade, the Pro may not be what you're looking for.
No.
But,
quite frankly, like, and because the moment I had this, a lot of people asked me. Quite frankly, like, the regular M1 MacBook Air or whatever, MacBook Pro, non M1 Pro, perfectly fine. Like, that's quite frankly, like, and this is what I tell most folks that are invested in the Apple ecosystem. Yes, you want to get off of Intel eventually because they are going to move everything to their own silica.
Yep.
Beyond that, like, as long as you're on the latest OS, you're good. My 14 was not supported in the new OS that just dropped. So there you go.
Just to keep everyone apprised of how we're not always in the Apple ecosystem. I already mentioned a non-Apple phone that I'm using as part of my Battleship laptop, and
we have our lids, two kids playing Battleship. B7.
I made the choice to get a Dell Latitude 7480. What? What? No, it's got Linux Mint on it. Because for what I need to do, I need a web browser, hi Firefox. I need a Notes app, hi Obsidian. I need a VPN, hi Molvad. I need a messaging app, hello Signal. And I need a VM player, hi VirtualBox. 8 gigabytes of RAM. No, did I get 16? I got 8 gigabytes of RAM, but a 1 terabyte SSD within.
Oh, nice.
And it was affordable because when I'm not working on a computer and I'm doing light stuff, I don't want the Chromebook. I don't want the telemetry. I'm going to go Linux Mint. But anyway, we're not always on Apple. So anyway, for my kit, so I've had a couple new additions to my EDC, and I'm not talking about Bobby Brown from the 80s. Chrome Industries is a fabulous company.
Portland, right?
I think it's around the California area, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah. But I could be wrong where they're based. And our faithful listener, Luke, I am still, when the money is there, going to get me a Mission Workshop bag. Don't worry. You sold me on They're fine quality stuff, but I needed a light sling pack. And I chose to get the Chrome Industries Cadet with a K sling bag in black chrome, of course, because they don't use vowels in their Blick Chrome model name. So it's got just enough what I need to take a notebook, a pen, my phone, some Bluetooth earpieces, and some scratch paper to scribble on. I love it. And it's just, sweet. I got to go to a coffee shop. I don't need to bring any beasts with me. It's just my phone, some, and light analog enjoyment for what's going on. But I also got an e-reader during this time. And so once again, with my vendetta against telemetry, I went with an independent e-reader, those fine folks at Kobo.
Say that again, because listeners of the show might remember that you went off the rails.
Oh, listeners of the show never pay attention to anything I say. Yeah, I kind of went off the rails. Back in the day when we were doing double digits of the Bellingham Podcast, I was probably a volunteer tech coach with the Bellingham Public Library.
Yes, you were.
And I worked with a lot of guests, patrons of the library, if you will, in whatever needs they would have to access ebooks from their Overdrive account and download it or move it.
Now Libby.
Now Libby, correct. To get it to whatever device they brought with them. And for those back in the day when we did double-digit episodes, when it was Bellingham Podcast Media Tech. Ooh, that's harkening back.
Old times, yeah.
Oh, those are the days.
Yeah.
The Kobo e-reader was not really that well established.
No.
So fast forward to the roaring 20s that we're in right now, and the Kobo Libra 2. I don't care if it's waterproof. I'm not going to take my devices near water, fool.
Poolside, fool.
Where in Bellingham is there a pool?
When you and your wonderful, beautiful wife go on a, luxurious stay post-COVID.
We're working on putting our daughter through college, and we're doing a moratorium on that whole,
I'm trying. I was trying, okay?
Yeah,
I'm trying, Chris's wife.
Your effort is duly noted. Anyway, Kobo has a killer e-reader, micro USB connection in which I can plug this into a computer and sideload or drag any EPUBs I might have. Cool screen, and they also are able to download articles saved to Pocket, that read it later service. And I'm like, ooh, that's a little tasty, even though it's Pocket, but that's one thing. So I got everything in there, and that's I just kind of dig it. So I got a little bit of a minimalist e-reader for some books and things like that. But speaking of new and exciting items in our life, AJ, we want to tell you, our wonderful listeners out there, about a new sponsor to the show.
Oh my gosh, we have a sponsor.
We have a sponsor, starting with episode 201. Can you believe it? The fine folks at Megaphone.
Megaphone?
Yes, with an F. The new social media app that's caught fire with the kids. That's right. Snapchat, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook are so 2020. Megaphone ensures that everyone in your arena, that's Megaphone's term for your friends list, sees what you have to say as soon as you say it. Notifications, when you install the Megaphone app on your phone, cannot be disabled on your device for Megaphone posts, which they happen to call blasts.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because, I want to say something, I'm going to make it a blast.
Blast it out.
That's right. That blast notification sound naturally is an air horn. Gone are those days of that weak sauce vibration notification from your friends' text messages. Brr, brr. No, not with Megaphone. The new shiny is a loud and proud air horn. But here's the thing about the Megaphone, AJ.
Tell me more.
Once you agree to that long terms of service agreement in the app and allow Megaphone permission to access your phone's entire contacts list and save photos, which of course the fine folks at Megaphone will back up for you on their servers for your safety. Anytime one of your friends has something to say, Megaphone will superimpose their blast over the top of whatever app you are currently viewing at that time. It's like bringing your friends to the front of the line for your attention. I find it fascinating. Those other apps that we have on our phones may show little summary notifications that slide down from the top of the...
It's so annoying and passé, Chris.
It's so passé, but Megaphone takes it to another level. But, you get placed front and center to all of your friends' missives whenever they hit that blast button. You know, AJ, during our break and recording on our humble little podcast, I've been hearing lots of air horns wherever I go. In the grocery store, all of my favorite coffee shops that I've visited, walking along the many trails here in Bellingham. I hear that sound. It's great. Even in my secret quiet spots where I look to get solitude, the air horns are all around me.
I can tell you're glowing from it.
I'm glowing in a lot of ways, actually. It's not just because of the Megaphone app, but anyway, the medication's wearing off. It seems whenever someone walks by me, the Megaphone social media app lets me know someone important just got notified of what their friends had to say. It seems to be everywhere I go, and I'm hearing so many people in the arena happily blasting away. Megaphone is a free download on your app store of choice with a desktop version coming soon for Windows, Mac, and Linux. Make sure you search for MEGA, not MAGA. That's a different app. To learn more, check out www.thenewshiny.org.
Ooh.
And after you install the free app, go into your settings for this Megaphone app, and in the premium menu selection, enter Bellingham Podcast to level up your Megaphone experience with sticker packs, custom emojis, and get this, double the decibel level of your blast notifications. It'll really make you stand out in the crowd, especially when you're watching a movie during those quiet scenes. Everyone will know that you are someone who's got one loud megaphone. Our thanks to Megaphone for
sponsoring this show.
That's
yes.
right, exactly.
If you want to sponsor the show, make sure you send it to tongueandcheek@bellinghampodcast.com.
Anyway, we may have more advertisements in the future depending on how things go. But stay tuned, folks. And be sure to check out Megaphone with an F. So, AJ.
Wow.
Yes.
You're for once, Chris, you're more energy than me on the show.
Well, when we have these advertisers, I pull my full effort into making sure that we get people to download that app.
Absolutely. You are on fire about this new social media app because Chris Powell loves social media. So
this podcaster's on fire.
Fire is what the kids say.
All right, let's talk about a new segment of the show we're going to introduce.
Yes. So, as I declared at the top of the Oyster Dome, welcome to the second favorite part of the show, which is Rad or Sad, where Chris Powell and I have three different instances of things that we're going to throw out at each other, and we say rad or sad and why.
Okay, I'll go first. AJ, the Bellingham Post Office, rad or sad?
Bellingham Post Office.
You got two to choose
which
from.
one?
Well, you got Orleans and you've got the downtown one. Your choice.
I prefer the Orleans one. I will say that it's sad only because every time I go in there, much like any other post office, I have to wait 9 years just to pick up my package.
Through no fault of the staff people,
I love the staff.
The staff are cool, and
Rick, you are the goods.
Rick, indeed. And for the staff who are there, I know that management may have asked you to say sorry for the wait. It's not your fault.
No.
You should, but I know it's a great way to kind of provide the customer service and things like that. I'm going to call the Bellingham Post Office sad, but I also want to give them a break.
Sure.
And I happened to discover during these 6 weeks a secret weapon to me. It's been around for quite some time. And I'm going to share a secret with those Bellingham Podcast listeners out there. If you go to Alabama and U Street, that little stoplight where you got Little Caesars and 7-Eleven, there's a gas station with Yorkie's Market, just a hop, skip, and a jump away. Inside Yorkie's Market is an official United States Post Office thing.
True story.
Area where you can ship packages, get packing in materials and things, and there's virtually no wait unless you want to get someone who's getting Hostess ding dongs and maybe a sixer of a drink. But Yorkie's Market on Alabama Street is my secret weapon when I need to mail stuff, especially as we're approaching that holiday season, folks.
True that.
Anyway, that was my first rad or sad for you, AJ.
Rad or sad. October 8th, it was announced that parking in Bellingham for 2022 might go up from 75 cents to $1.50 an hour.
I will go rad.
Why?
Because I'm tired of people complaining about how no one is doing anything for the city, and yet everyone's complaining about their taxes. Mm-hmm. I don't want to pay any taxes yet. I want to have everything given to me. We got to be able to help out, improve this city somehow. And if we're not going to vote for the levies or the referenda or anything that is going to help us contribute more into Parks and Rec or other areas of the city. And yeah, I don't know what I'm talking about. Sure. I'm a knucklehead technologist. But here's the thing. If I'm going to pay $1.50 an hour to park downtown, fair enough. Even if I have to stop in at Cresswell Boggs, a fine place to get some Christmas cards or other items for your special someone this holiday season coming up. Wait, we should be talking about that after Thanksgiving.
Yes.
I'm going to call that rad because I think to be able to charge more with the mobile apps or whatever we have, if you really are not wanting to pay $1.50, you're going to be getting closer to your 10,000 steps by parking outside of the downtown corridor where they're not doing the paid parking. AJ.
Okay, let me add on to that then. Rad or sad, the fact that if this goes through, parking enforcement will shift from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. That's what we are at now, to 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. and add Saturday enforcement. So there's basically no free parking anywhere.
Okay, so if I want to be so you can either be a work professional, a family person, or be part of the scene. Pick two. I can be work and the scene. I can be a family and the scene if I don't work, but I can't have all three. I've chosen work and family. And quite frankly, the downtown corridor is wonderful. We did a walking tour of it. There was a whole lot of new eateries and drankeries out there, and I'm all for that. However, I don't mind paying additional money even on the weekends.
Okay.
When I'm helping out the city.
Sure.
I believe, and I'm sure there'll be some people who know so much more than I do and are ready to and already have their Megaphone app downloaded and are going to blast me with their comments about how much of an ignorant fool I am. But I got no problem if there's an additional hourly payment if it's going to the city coffers, especially with our fine neighbors to the north now able to come visit us.
Valid.
Let's get some more money into the Bellingham economy. That there might be able to be a new opportunity for improvements elsewhere.
So I'm going to go with sad on this whole thing.
I get
because I'm coming from the other end of it where I know some of the businesses, and I've got a link in the show notes to actually King 5 News out of Seattle actually picked this up back in October while we were off the air. And coming from the toy shop down in Fairhaven, the fact is that you have the big Zon that is putting people like them out of business. It reminds me of when the Barnes and Schmobles were coming in and killing the bookstores. Yeah. Because if you add one extra toll of doubling that's what the city's proposing is doubling the parking rate. It now costs you $1.50 more on top of the tax and everything else to get a simple thing local. Yeah.
When people are going to park downtown, so if you work downtown, I believe you should be exempt. If one of the perks could be if you were working an 8-hour shift in one of these businesses, that's cool. But if you're going to pay $6 for a cup of coffee, or if you're going to drop $40 on drinks and or appies, I think that's what the kids are calling them, appetizers. I got no sympathy for you if you're going to pay $1.50 an hour because you've already got the capital, you've already got the cashola to be able to drop to be able to help out with this. It's just one less drink you're going to have, or maybe you won't get that additional fifth ingredient in your coffee. Gosh, I turned into a little bit of a angry
6 week. Yeah, I'm the mellow one now. This is interesting.
The medication's wearing off, like I said before. So my next rad or sad is the Hagen salad bar.
It's sad. The fact is that the price has gone up, Chris.
Yeah, I'm going to call sad on this one. Hagen, you're an institution in Whatcom County. We love you and what you've done for the community and how you're, very active in all kinds of sponsorships and other things like that. But I got to shoot straight with you. If I'm going to get $9.99
for lettuce,
and other stuff, and other salad fixins, $10 a pound for salad. And I didn't check the prices. It wasn't clearly marked, and that's bad on me.
But you and I used to do this for lunch all the time.
Yeah, we used to be back in the day. But here's the thing: that day is in the rearview mirror.
I guess here's my thing: is the sad part of it is because I know the Hagen Deli fairly well, and the fact is now, if you wanted to have a smarter, healthier choice for a lunch or a dinner, like the salad bar, like we used to do, it is now cost beneficial for you just to go and get the bag of chicken, which is half that price, and no green stuff. And that's what I find ironic of it, is it's almost like a healthy punishment, as it were.
It's totally Alanis Morissette, baby. Isn't it ironic? Anyway, your next rad or sad?
Facebook is now Meta. Get your megaphone out.
No, I'm doing everything I can right now to keep this show clean. Let's go sad. There's no way the F book is going to be able to rebrand themselves. I mean, back in the day, Philip Morris was had such a horrible reputation for destroying lungs from smoking from their big tobacco company. And they changed their name. They rebranded to Altria, which smacked of the word altruistic or altruism. And I'm like, so Facebook, after, how convenient that they had all of these scandals when we were off the mic about collating data, getting data on people, how it's not good for people's mental health or teenagers or all of these other bad things. And they're going, no, we're not Facebook anymore. We're going to be Meta. Guess what? I still don't like you. I still know that you're going to be grabbing more data, even more so now that you're only a different 2-syllable word. And now you're a 4-letter word. You're the M word. So I'm going to say sad. AJ, hit it.
This is fun. So for me, Facebook being Meta is rad.
What?
Okay, here's why.
Rad? Tell me.
Because this is coming from left field. Facebook now being Meta got trolled by the country of Iceland.
Really?
Iceland created a video. If you're familiar with the whole Facebook Meta announcement, there was a keynote and Mark Zuckerberg is like staring at you with his little beady technological eyes, and behind him is all digital CGI'd, a home space.
That was like a filter on TikTok or something, right?
Kind of.
I think I saw that and had nightmares afterwards.
He was plugging the whole Oculus, which is their VR instance, and you're in this fake beautiful home, because all of our homes are not as beautiful as they can be on digital, right? Well, Iceland redid basically that entire, I'll show it to you after the show.
Sure.
They redid and mocked the heck out of the fact that, you feel like the life is not real enough? Come to Iceland. We will show you what life is. It's beautiful here.
I'm telling you, man.
It's great.
I'm telling you, man. Ich bin ein Reykjavik. I am so down with Iceland.
Iceland, you need to fly us out.
Yeah, exactly. We'll record a show from Reykjavik.
Yeah, but that's the reason why I say Facebook now Meta is rad, because of that single video, and there's a link in the show notes.
All right. So my third rad or sad for you, AJ, coming in 22, Cascadia Daily News.
Oh yeah, the CDN.
The CDN, that's right, exactly. We got a new news outlet coming online in 2022, it looks like.
Yep, I'm going to say it's rad for one reason.
What's one reason?
One of their editors,
managing
editor is Mr. Stephen Howie. Howie, you are the goods. Longtime friend and colleague, and also a supporter of the show.
Well, thank you very much for that, Stephen, and good luck to you all. I happened to notice a little bit of some rumblings about another news organization, and I'm going to call it rad, of course, because I want you all to be doing the 5 W's like you should be. But I think it's important to be able to have something different and out there in addition to, so we can get an information diet that comes from many different perspectives. There's another website out there that I'm a fan of, wacom-news.com. Wacom-news, I think in the past was based in Ferndale.
Okay.
For a lot of Ferndale news. And I've just noticed that they have done fairly straight reporting of some news items. And they're not behind an account paywall. So anyway, props to some additional news outlets for us to be getting some information diet nourishment from. So yeah, good on you, Stephen and the crew. Good on you, Haley. And I hope best of success for you all in 2022 as you're ramping up the daily media coverage of this beautiful town.
Dig it.
All right. So that was rad or sad, the first episode. I need to be able to calm down for the next round
You
or
do
so.
just a bit, Chris. I mean, man, I thought we were gonna come back on the mic. Things were gonna be mellow, and you're on fire.
I was
that
on-
megaphone app. You gotta unplug a little bit, bro.
I need to improve the quality of my life.
Ah, yes, because we are now at my favorite part of every episode. This is quality assurance. It's back, and because these picks are picked for you by AJ Barce and Chris Powell for your quality assurance. I'm gonna go first because this first one should speak to your soul.
It does.
There's a new podcast. Well, not new. There's a podcast that I found out from the Spyscape network. It's called The Great James Bond Car Robbery.
You had me at Bond.
So this is about the DB5, the famous like Goldfinger DB5. I never knew it got heisted.
Okay.
It was out on tour around the United States. I believe it got stolen out of Florida at an event.
Like the painting?
No. The actual car.
The
car.
Oh, okay.
The actual, like, the gun turret shoots out of the thing.
Yes.
The oil slick, the whole rotating, changing of the plate. Yeah, that Aston Martin got stolen.
That car, every breathing male around 1963 or 4 wanted to have.
Apparently, it is. I didn't know that it had this claim to fame. It is the most famous car like in the world. Like, that is the James Bond car. It has never been recovered. And so part of this is Elizabeth Hurley.
Oh.
She is the narrator of the podcast.
Oh, dear.
And it is fabulous. The history of the car, the history of James Bond, where the case has gone, because the case is still open. And if you're a listener of the show, and if you have, like, literally trying to get this out there, because anybody who contributes to reclaiming that famous car, there's like a 6-figure sum waiting for you.
Hello. Elizabeth Hurley, Money, and James Bond.
Exactly.
I'm interested.
You need to listen to it. It's a short series because they got to the end because the car hasn't been reclaimed yet. But if you're a fan, because the No Time to Die James Bond has recently dropped,
yes.
I thought this would be great for quality assurance.
That's great. Good pick. My quality assurance pick is one that a lot of people have seen. It's won a whole lot. I'm going to keep it clean. A whole lot of Emmy Awards. On Apple TV Plus streaming is a show called Ted Lasso.
Oh, yeah.
And I will shoot straight. I looked at the cover of Jason Sudeckis and that silly mustache.
Same here.
And I wrote him off as one of these goofball, this is going to be
Not
like
my thing.
a mock type comedy. And I'm like, yeah, I didn't pay much mind. But my beautiful wife binge watched it with a friend of hers. And like, this is like mentorship.
Yes.
This is a masterclass on mentorship
it is.
and team building. So I watched a little bit of it. I checked out. Okay. And I happened to, they're 30-minute episodes. Time goes by quickly in these dark days of November. I've watched all of them, and boy, howdy, I'm a fan. Fun fact. All right. I got a pop quiz for you about Ted Lasso, AJ, but fun fact, one of the commentators in the show's football game broadcast.
Oh, well, yes. I'm sitting right here in the booth at the pitch, and I'm with Mr. Chris Powell.
Yeah, yet another famous Chris Powell. Tip of the hat. This is a former UK football star,
which I didn't know until you told me.
Exactly, and he's doing the commentary and things like that in the booth, and I'm like, okay, so I've got a no talent jerk who took my .com, who's a handsome, muscular, rugged
from the East Coast,
best-selling author, extreme weight loss coach. He took my .com, and his name's Chris Powell. But then I also got this wonderful UK football hero.
Yeah, dude.
On Ted Lasso.
Awesome.
And the funny thing is, I noticed this, and I hear my name on the show, and I'm like, I asked my wife, why didn't you say the guy had my name?
You're in the show.
Anyway, I'm in the show. This Chris Powell is 5'10".
Yeah.
And as a football star, I'm 6'3", and as a podcast, motor mouth.
I like it.
That being said, pop quiz, AJ, what is your, I assume you've seen this as well.
I've gotten halfway through the second season.
Okay, fair enough. What is your favorite scene or moment of Ted Lasso so far? How would you sell it to someone who doesn't necessarily have Apple TV streaming available?
So first of all, the main actor that plays Ted Lasso, you might have seen him in Horrible Bosses.
Jason Sudeikis.
Yeah. So like, I know, but like, if you're like me, I don't know names of actors. I'm just saying, like, if you might have, if you're a fan of that type of comedy, that's not Ted Lasso. So don't attribute. It's kind of like watching Zoolander and thinking that Ben Stiller is going to be acting like that in The Secret Life of Walter Mitty. That's the kind of juxtaposition I like to put into this, is like, if it's that slapstick comedy, you're not going to find that here in Ted Lasso. if you are a fan of real football, like the international one that you use your feet with just the ability to check out and watch something that is both positive and hard-hitting all at the same time with a cast of characters that just make you crack up. Like my spirit animal, which is Roy Kent, which is my favorite scene.
Roy Kent!
Roy Kent, who's a football star in the show. Great actor.
One of the writers who actually liked the character so much he auditioned for it.
Yeah. So he's with his girlfriend in the show, Keely, and he makes this horrible flub up, and so he is trying to
most footballer guys do.
Well, no, as any guy might have an affinity towards, of like trying to make up.
Yeah.
And so there's this great scene where he draws this beautiful bath and surprise her because he's too clingy and is trying to step back, and so he's like, hey Siri, play Keely, I'm sorry, I should have listened to you and I'm going to leave you alone for the next hour playlist. Now play. And it's just hilarious because that speaks to me.
Absolutely. There are so many wonderful scenes. I like the fact that they have actual football players as actors in there. That adds the level of authenticity. Yeah. Like they're not paid actors. These are actually fancy footwork kind of fellas. But one of the best scenes that I enjoyed was the dart scene. And I'm not going to go into it, but if you've seen it, you know what I'm talking about. But this has taught me so much about how one would lead a group of people, how one would manage people in an office environment or on a team or something like that. If only more managers and upper administrators, there's a hook to the reason why Ted Lasso is recruited from Kansas, I believe, to come over to Richmond, a town in the UK, to coach a different type of football team that the owner of the team wanted to have. But the dart scene resonated with me because here's someone who is really on blast, if you will, in a very smug, arrogant kind of way, and making a whole lot of people around him feel not very good. The moral is we need to stop assuming things about people without getting to know them. You would not know by looking at AJ Barce that he's actually a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
Which, for the record, I'm not.
Oh, okay. Anyway, no, one would not think that Ted Lasso is an expert dartsman.
Right.
But you assume things, and I'm not going to go to that saying, but it was such a wonderful illustration about how we need to get to know someone, to be able to know the story behind them, to know why they are on blast in whatever social media post they're doing, or why they have such a closed fist about what they're. Oh, look at me getting all genuine and authentic right now. If we actually listen more, talk less, we get to learn more about someone and to be able to see maybe the why they say what they say, as opposed to compartmentalizing somebody because you said this, therefore you fit in this convenient antagonistic slot. And I just love that scene because it's just a wonderful way to be able to go, you got to watch out for the quiet ones or the nice ones because they probably will get you in the end. But anyway, I think that's my quality assurance. It's a quality show, 2 seasons. I think they got picked up for a 3rd season.
Oh, did they?
Coming soon. Yeah, at least what I saw on IMDb because I go in depth and things like that. But anyway.
Wow, Chris.
Yeah, it's a quality show, man. And it's, I definitely wouldn't recommend watching it with the kiddos.
No, my kiddo has to be asleep.
There's some salty language going on there.
With my spirit animal, yes. I like Roy Kent.
Well, I dig him too, just because, for various reasons. But I think we need to be able to say, welcome back, podcast partner in crime. It's great to be back on the stick. Let's wrap this show up. which might actually turn into a two-parter episode.
Nah, I'm going to run it long.
Okay, cool.
That wraps up this edition of the Bellingham Podcast. Thank you again so much for listening to us, rating us, reviewing us, wherever you like to get your podcast. Remember, if you're in the Bellingham area, you might be listening to us on KMRE 102.3 FM.
They are community-powered and streaming all over the darn place at kmre.org on your web browser dial.
If you didn't pay attention to all of the references that we did in the show, be sure to also subscribe to us on our new Substack. You can find it at bellinghampodcast.substack.com. And on that note, I'm here, I'm there, I'm every bloody where. I'm AJ Barcet. I kept it clean.
And I'm Chris Powell.
Chris Powell. Chris Powell.
Yeah, you got to watch the show to know what we're talking about. Anyway, thanks for joining us on the Bellingham Podcast. It's good to be back.
Chris Powell. Chris Powell. Chris
All right,
Powell.
that's enough. All right.